Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Christmas Eve service. We are so blessed to have you here with us. So very grateful that you have chosen to share this evening in this very cool temperature that we're having, or shall I say cold temperature. Yes, and those, of course, of you that are joining us on social media, a very special welcome to you as well. One of the most well-loved and often repeated stories in the world is the Christmas story, which is also the description of our own soul's spiritual awareness. As the sacred narrative unfolds, we see how it can apply to our lives. Part of us, like Joseph, may have been skeptical at first, but we gradually grew in our understanding in the ways of spirit. Mary would represent our trusting, our willing nature, open to carrying the blessing of the Christ light to others. The manger represents our humble heart, prepared to receive the long-awaited Christ child, and the infant Jesus represents the Christ consciousness born within each of us, the blessed realization of our spiritual life. This past year has been one to challenge many of us on different levels, and we have all been put in the position, whether we realize it or not, to be open and receptive to greater spiritual growth. This evening, we are invited to embrace a new awareness of the Christ being born within each of us, as we give birth to new experiences of our authentic, divine Christ nature. As we think of the Christmas message, we are reminded that it is the expression of our wonder, our life, love, peace, joy, and goodwill, and that we are to share and continue to share in the world today and every day of the year. And so I invite you now to join me in prayer. Infinite radiant source of all life, at this very sacred time of year, we acknowledge your presence and power working in and through each of us as we gather together in gratitude of life's abundance that you have given the earth. May all men, women, and children share in that abundance. For the Christ light within each of us, may all beings follow it. And for the love that you have blessed us with, may all the human race open their hearts to it. And as we open our hearts to this Christmas Eve's blessing and gathering, let us receive an inspiring rebirth of love, life, wonder, and light, allowing for the Christmas spirit to shine in and through each of us tonight and in the days to come. We give thanks for the divine awareness that our minds and hearts are renewed by the revitalizing presence of the Christ consciousness, so that God's infinite love continues to flow through our thoughts, our words, and our actions to bless and inspire all mankind. And so it is. Amen. Again, a heartfelt welcome to all of you that have joined us and those coming in. We are so very grateful that we can share this very sacred time with each of you. And we would like to acknowledge this beautiful arrangement, Christmas arrangement of flowers that are in honor of Laverne Long, mother of Carol Mitchell, and of course, loving wishes are sent from Carol and her family for these beautiful flowers. And for, of course, the poinsettias that you see here on the platform, we want to thank all of you who have contributed to these. We want for you to, those of you who have purchased them, to pick them up after the service and take them home and enjoy them, or perhaps share them with someone else. Those of you who have bought them, there are names on the back of them, so if you haven't been shown where yours is, then we're more than happy to share that afterwards with you. We do have 2 of the white ones still available if there's someone that's interested in purchasing those at $12 each. They're a little bit bigger than the other ones. Please come and see me after the service about that. Following our service tonight, the temple has prepared a very special Christmas delicacy for all of you, and we hope that you will linger a while afterwards and enjoy the refreshments in the lobby. Tomorrow, as many of you know, we will not be having service, so we wish you a Merry Christmas Day ahead of time, and we look forward to seeing you next Sunday for January 1st. And on that day, we'll be having our Burning Bowl ceremony. And for those of you who are not aware of this, we will have you all fill out these little papers, things that you'd like to release for the coming new year. And if you haven't had that experience, we invite you to join us for that, because it's a wonderful releasing experience. And so it's a yearly thing that we'd like to share and invite all that can make it for that. And then the following week on the 8th, we will be having our future views. Many of you have been here for that. Many of you have experienced perhaps maybe close to 50 years of sharing those experiences here, and we'll be having a wonderful panel of that. There's more information, of course, in your program and in the lobby on that as well. And so let us now enjoy sacred music by Sandy and Bill. Ave Maria.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Daniel Harris, And I'm here to tell you that inspiration can be found anywhere, even driving into a hurricane. I'll get back to that in a minute. So it's September 26th, and I'm driving to South Augusta, North Carolina, or maybe it's North Augusta, South Carolina. I don't know, it's hard to tell. And I was reminiscing on a time when I was asked if I would be interested in being a speaker up here on the platform one Sunday. As honorable as that seemed, I certainly didn't feel like I was prepared. And besides, what could I say that hasn't been said already 1,000 times over and in 1,000 different directions? So, and now I don't know what to say. See, just like that, boom, out the door. So I'm driving up to my mom's house to pick up some Christmas presents, Christmas decorations, and other stuff that I should have done 3 years ago, but that's another story. So during that 3-year time, COVID happened. And in October of 2020, my mother's house was sold out from under her, and she needed to find a place to live. Well, with everyone hunkered down and nobody was moving. Oh no. Even the microphone doesn't want me to speak. It just turned off. Oh, well, okay then. Well, here we go. So, COVID happens, my mother's house gets sold, there's nowhere to go. She packs up all of her belongings and puts them in a storage unit. And that first Christmas she spent in a hotel room. Exactly. Now, to know my mother is to know that her passions are ignited during the holidays, especially when it comes to baking and making decorations and gifts for her friends and loved ones. So being in a hotel room didn't really work out. And I tried to tell her, I said, Mom, maybe this is the universe telling you to take a break. Because she would complain about her wrists and her hands. She knits and she sews and she makes cookies, and all those things are being very hard on her as we're all getting older. Uh-oh, this just in. And we're back. So anyway, like I try to do, I tried to give my mother some positive advice and tell her that this is the universe's way of saying take a break. And my mother's response is, yeah, I know, but there's always a but. Her second Christmas in a hotel was a lot worse. I can remember her telling me that if she couldn't do these things that she loved, that she was going to go crazy. And as always, I try to give her some uplifting, positive advice, but it's not always easy to do while you're listening to your mother cry on the phone. So, 9 months later, I'm driving up to Virginia to pick up these gifts and decorations from my mother in her new home. With a 2-year lease agreement, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, a spacious kitchen, and she has her own sewing room. I guess I am like my mother after all. So she also had a garage big enough that you could drive into. Well, you could if she hadn't had it stacked with boxes, meticulously labeled and put in sections all around. Well, of course, mine was closest to the garage door, so I was very thankful of that. So she's giving me the tour of the house, and she's pointing out all these little things that she feels needs to be fixed, or things that just don't meet up to her standards, as if the drive wasn't exhausting enough. And the next morning over coffee, she's regaling me with familiar stories about things that have been done wrong to her, like family heirlooms never received, bad parenting, all those kind of things. And I mentioned that I started this thing talking about driving, and it was that same morning over coffee that I learned about this little tropical storm named Ian. Yeah. The next day, I wake up to find out that it's a Category 1 hurricane headed straight for St. Petersburg. Never in all my days have I thought that I would take the opportunity of an impending natural disaster to leave the company and safety of a house 5 states away. But here I was doing just that. So before I left, I had a little conversation with my mother on the driveway. And I told her she needed to stop living in the past. I told her that these stories that are in her past, that these things that upset her, all they serve is to keep her energy low and keep her mind in a state of victim consciousness. I also told her that sometimes looking back at the past is a good thing. Like when you're walking around your house pointing at all the little flaws. Instead, you should be thinking about what it felt like to be in that hotel room and be thankful for the upgrade. So I'm driving down this 2-lane road headed to Georgia, and all of a sudden it dawns on me that there's this car right in front of me, and I'm coming up on him real quick. So either I need to slow down or I'm going to have to move over, because he was obviously in the wrong lane. Man, having to change lanes is such a chore, right? So I'm still fuming as I see his car getting smaller in my mirror. And I realized I really am my mother's child. Getting mad about something that's already happened. So my message is this. Inspiration can be found anywhere. So keep driving forward with your foot on the pedal and gratitude as your co-pilot. Thank you.
Welcome. I'm Sarah Bingham, and I have struggled with authority my entire life. Now, I was born, and that was the beginning, because they drugged my mother so she wouldn't feel the pain of birth, and then they wheeled me all the way down the corridor and left me alone without her, and then, of course, encouraged her to bottle feed, not breastfeed. Well, I want to tell you right now, so who figured that out was my question, and it was the local authorities, of course. The medical authorities felt this was the best way to give birth and treat a newborn. No, I was young at the time, but I want you to know I was ticked off, all right? So began my quarrel with authorities. So I was a rebel in school. A teacher didn't get any respect from me unless they earned it. I gave my mother every gray hair she had. As a graduate student, my thesis in nutrition had to do with the importance of keeping a mother with her infant for optimum bonding and growth and development. All this time, even as an infant, I had decided that I've got this. Okay, they clearly don't. What the heck are they thinking, these authorities? So I'm going to figure it out. So I've been figuring it out right along. And then as a nutrition consultant, working with clients, working with Mother Nature, teaching them how their body will heal itself. I had it because I kept seeing all these things getting better and helping parents and everyone get better. So the I've got this was just strong. I can't tell you how strong. It's like, oh yeah, I've got this. I've got this. And then COVID hit. And there are the authorities again. Lord, have mercy upon us. I couldn't figure out what they were doing, all right, from my standpoint. But I'll tell you the thing that really hit was now I was in a rhythm of every 3 months going up north to visit my kids and grandchildren, all right? This was top importance. Are you getting the theme here? You know, a mother needs to be with her children. Get it? So all of a sudden COVID hits, and the authorities told me I couldn't go see them for lots of different reasons. Well, the I've got this went into full tilt here, and I was scheming, but let me tell you, they had me. I was distraught. I was beyond distraught. I was enraged, distraught, and wanted to be with my children. I finally figured it out, but right about that time, I got a diagnosis of breast cancer. So here I am, 40 years in the practice of holistic health, believing in the body's ability to heal itself, and now I'm faced with the big C. And there is just no fear like that. We've really done a good job of fear and terror around cancer. However, on the other side, there was just part of me that kept saying, well, Sarah, here's your PhD in healing, honey. You know, and so I did a lot of studying. I did a lot of very deep psychotherapy. But I can tell you the thing that really began to turn me in just all the right directions was becoming a student of the Course in Miracles. And I finally began to see the light. And the light was, honey, you don't got this. You don't got this. And furthermore, you don't have to got this, all right? The Infinite One has got this. Oh, praise the Lord. So it's like, wait. You mean I don't have to struggle like this anymore? And oh, wait, if I look back on my life, you mean to tell me that I've been guided all along anyhow? You know, that I really didn't have to put in all that effort? It's like, wow, well, hot dog. So am I healing from cancer? You bet. But I can tell you, here we are in the season of light, and I light a candle every day in my mind, honoring the ultimate authority, which is the Infinite One, so that I can wake up every morning and say, well, what do we got today, Infinite One? I'm here, and I will follow, because I know whatever problem I have, you already solved it, and I just need to walk into it. So that, to me, is just a total joy to the world. So enjoy your holiday.
Beautiful evening, everyone. My name is Jacob Torres, and my first life-changing event happened in May 21st, 1991. That is the month, day, and year I was born. Now, 30 plus years later, I'm still trying to figure out this thing we call life, but that's a topic for another day. While the law says a boy becomes an adult when he reaches the age of 18, the measurement of manhood is not his age, nor is it the size of his muscles, bank account, knowledge, or even the amount of hair on specific body parts. A boy becomes a man when he's no longer just responsible for himself, but responsible for others. The next 3 dates changed my life completely, and they are a major source of my inspiration. November 16th, 2013, that's the date I got married to my beautiful wife, Leslie. My advice to anyone who plans on getting married is not like a love movie where a boy meets a girl, a climax happens, and they live happily ever after. Yes, a boy will meet a girl, but there will be multiple climaxes. And it's your responsibility, to have, a happy ending, basically. So you have to work on it. You'll have good days and bad days. In the 9 years that I have been married, I learned and relearned the following. Compromise, dedication, respectful, acceptance, influential, patient, silly, kindness, consistency, hope, caring, and most importantly, forgiving. Like Elsa says, let it go. The next 2 dates, January 11th, 2015, that's the date I became a father for the first time. February 26th, 2016, that's the date I became a father for the second time. My daughters are my biggest achievement. They are my stars, and my life has changed so much better since they came along. Being a father of 2 beautiful princes has taught me so much. Some examples are, we all need to take a nap. No, seriously, take a 30 to 90-minute power nap. It will help with stress and anxiety. Some additional things that my daughters taught me are you need to slow down. And that long pause. Slow down and enjoy the moment. They also taught me to, make sure to give them kisses before I leave, because you don't know if that's the last time you'll see them. So make sure you tell the people that you love them and give them kisses. It doesn't matter how old they are. They have also taught me a lot of things, be patient, big time. It's the kids, when they're little, they just, they enjoy everything and they don't know what's wrong, what's good, what's bad, what they should do, what shouldn't do. So, as parents, we have to teach them. Because of my family, I know that in all I do, from being a husband, a father, a son, a business owner, I had no choice but to always give it my best. And because of my family, I am blessed. For all the fathers, it doesn't matter if your child is 6, 7, or 55 years of age. Make sure you remind them that you are proud to be their father and that you love them. For all the husbands, it doesn't matter if you've been married 1 year or 55 years. Make sure you remind your wife that you are crazy for her and that you love her exactly the way she is, even though she might drive you a little crazy. Hint, take a power nap. I would like to close this with a quote. Christmas gives us an opportunity to pause and reflect on the important things around us, unquote. It's not the presents that are under the tree, it's the people around us, the people we get to hug and kiss. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Lisa Bromfield. I invite you to come on a journey with me tonight. My spiritual journey of forgiveness and embracing gratitude like I never expected in my life. Forgiveness is the most difficult thing we will do on our journeys. In learning to forgive myself and others, it set me free. My spiritual awakening coincided with my mother being admitted to the nursing home. As you know, there are no coincidences. My mother, God love her, was a narcissist. She was addicted to Valium, she had an eating disorder, and she was extremely critical of me. She made me feel small. My dad was a paranoid personality. They would leave me and my twin to be babysat by my older brother, who beat me and bullied me. When I went to them to tell them, they called me a liar. When I was 21, I learned of a secret that my mother was keeping from our family. I was digging in her closet, cleaning it up for her, and I found a picture of my grandmother and a little girl, a little Down syndrome girl with red hair. She was so adorable. I quickly took my twin brother downstairs in the laundry room, and I said, "Jed, who is this?" And he said, "I was told our sister died." I said, "Apparently not." I confronted my mother. I began to bring my sister Stephanie home. Oh, she was a bundle of joy. And interestingly enough, my job at the time was working with developmentally disabled individuals. I had unknowingly channeled in the fact that I had a sister. At the same time, my mother learned I was gay. She sent me to Mass General Hospital in Boston for conversion therapy. Yes, to be converted to a heterosexual. I quickly left the state, as you might expect. Oh, what a journey, right? My mother, in her elder years, became addicted to opioids after a very bad back surgery. And then she had a critical fall and ended up in the nursing home. This is where our healing journey began. I lived in Arizona at the time, and I flew back and forth from Arizona to Boston every 4 months for over 10 years to take care of her for about 4 or 5 days. She loved to go shopping, so I'd get her in a wheelchair, get her on the van, and take her to the mall. When we got back, I'd hang everything carefully up on hangers, and she'd always look at me and say, "Thank you, doll." Then my mother had 2 strokes, which left her unable to feed herself. The meal times became a really nurturing time for us. I would feed her her meals, and sometimes the spoon wouldn't quite make it to her mouth with her cereal, and the milk would slightly dribble down her face. We would laugh, and I would gently wipe the milk off of her face. This is where I learned to love my mother unconditionally. This is where I forgave her. My older brother, well, that was a different case with his mistreatment of me as a child. I had to go into meditation, cut cords, send him love and light. Because of our strained relationship, I didn't get to know his sons very well, neither did my twin. Yet about a year and a half ago, his oldest son, Ian, came to me to do healing work. I took Ian into a beautiful energy healing guided journey. We saw the most beautiful cabin in the mountains with a beautiful creek. 2 months later, Ian purchased a cabin in the mountains of Tennessee that looked exactly like what we had seen in the meditation. To this day, he'll text me and say, "Auntie, thank you for helping me find my dream home." Do you see the power of forgiveness? And in this forgiveness, I had to find gratitude for my parents and for my older brother. Because you see, they made me the woman I am today. It was for me. They made me stronger. And they allowed me to step into my gifts as an energy healer and a psychic. What a gift. The gift of gratitude. The gift of forgiveness. Forgive frequently. It doesn't mean they have to be in your life. As Ram Dass used to say, we are all just walking each other home. Thank you for allowing me to share my very personal story tonight. God bless you and Merry Christmas.
Join us. Go telling on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go telling on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. While shepherds gather watching o'er silent flocks by night, behold throughout the heavens there shone a holy light. Go the mountains, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born.
Thank you. Thank you to all who have participated in the program this evening thus far. And a very warm welcome to all of you who are here tonight who have braved the unusual chill that we are privileged in a way to experience Christmas. Nearly 2,000 years ago, a Jewish boy was born in the town of Bethlehem in the country of Judea. He was named Jesus and also Emmanuel, which means God is with us. He was at a young age, we think probably around 30, baptized in the famous river that runs through that area. At that time, it was a very big river. Now it's like a little trickle. And he was baptized by a man called John the Baptist, who said he was the forerunner of an awakening consciousness that would soon be among the people. Many of you know the story of Christmas over and over and over because it is told and retold with many interesting elements. Many of us now know that whether the story that is told in the New Testament, particularly in the first chapters, is not necessarily historical fact in the same way that we think we can verify facts now. And when I think about how difficult it is in our own time, when men and women are being quoted on public and national television, and hundreds of people are questioning where they got their information, and whether it came from the source they claim, and whether it was true or not, or whether they meant what they said, it's interesting to think about what was fact at a time when probably none of us were in incarnation. But Jesus grew up and became a teacher, and he is the teacher of light and the teacher of love. The great work of his ministry was to bring to us the idea that love is possible among ourselves and among people we don't know, and that forgiveness in a way is a requirement of living in the world of flesh and form. Many of us know that when Jesus encourages us to love one another and to love our neighbor as ourselves, it's one of the most difficult tasks you get to do. Very often we don't love our neighbors. And it has really nothing to do with color or creed, but it has to do with the human personality. We simply don't like people we don't know. And as a result, we judge them unfairly and harshly, and we have to learn to move beyond that. It was true in his time, it's still true in our time. So we're still learning the lesson, aren't we? We're still learning how to be at peace with the men and women of our life, our neighbors, not necessarily the people we live with, that's another story. But it is important, I think, to know that that lesson is still with us in the world in which you and I live. And the second thing I want to mention is that Jesus taught over and over and over and over that it was necessary to forgive people. Forgive, 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 forgive. He is quoted as having said when he was on the cross at Calvary, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." And aren't we as a nation learning that? to forgive other men, other women, other people for the work or for the living ways they have that we don't understand or don't agree with or don't accept. They don't necessarily accept us, we don't accept them. So we have to learn how to forgive. And we have to learn how to do that, especially with the men and women that we say we love, with the children, our partners, our wives, our husbands, and so on. We're still in the process of learning that lesson, so it's universal. In our life, we have to remember that the big becomes greater when we emphasize what is great in it, and it becomes lesser when we emphasize the minus, which needs to be taken away. Wars, for example, are created over disagreements, hurt feelings, and slights, or greed, or the thirst for power, or imperial outreach, and so on. What do we have to learn about that within the very context of our life? So where do we go from that today? What is the real work for us to rejoice in the soul and in the spirit? I believe that wherever we are is the opportunity we have to do the great work we're here to do. Many people feel like we've got to go to foreign places, travel to distant countries, elegant and difficult locations in some rarefied atmosphere of the world. I think we do the work here at home in St. Petersburg, Florida. And how do we do that work? We do that work when we have people in our lives that need to be fed, that need to be clothed, that need to be loved, that need to be served, that need to be given to and given an opportunity to be better in the world in which they live. And that includes our family, the men and the women of our family who have difficult lives. We cannot always understand why someone will want to marry 5 and 6 times when no marriage seems to work. And why someone else wants to have 16 children just because you can do it. We don't understand why people are unwilling to do their part in the world, carry their responsibility, and let it fall to others. Whoever seems willing, or to wait on the government or the community to take them in, to shield them. And part of what that's about is that we have to learn, I think, as mankind is awakening to his spiritual larger self, that every man, every woman is our brother and our sister. We don't need to marry them, we don't need to live with them, but we do need to respect them. Whether we agree with their choices, whether they have had a difficult or a good or rewarding life, every life has value. Every single life has value. We don't always see value because we aren't always educated in our own way to see it and recognize it when it shows up. It's hard to hear a man or a woman who is really, really sarcastic to listen that they're calling for love. It's hard for someone to tell you they hate you when in reality they're saying, will you please love me? Just love me. And don't approve of what I do or say or how I act. Just love me. Let me be where I am. Sometimes they have to be in difficult spaces before they can be in good spaces and loving spaces. In closing tonight, I want to remind us all of a teacher that I respected a great deal many years ago. He was the great minister of the famous, world-famous Crystal Cathedral in Southern California. His name was Robert Schuller. And he created a philosophy which I subscribed to, then I still do. He called it possibility thinking. And one of the statements that he emphasized over. There were several major points, and I won't talk about each of them, but one that stands out in alignment with my theme this evening. And the statement he made, find a need and fill it. Think about that. Find a need, whether it's in ourselves or in the community or in the men and the women in the world in which we live, and do the part that you can do to fill it. I believe that we have a divine opportunity this holiday to make our world a better place. But we don't make it in great bounds and great leaps. We make it in gradations, deep and slow gradations. Remember one of Aesop's fables between the hare and the rabbit. The rabbit was full of boasting. Oh, I can get to the goal quickly and I don't have to do the plodding of the hare. And he teased the hare on his way to the goal. What happened? The hare continued on his way, plodding slowly, 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 slowly. And the hare decided that he had gone so far, so fast, so quickly, he could take a nap. Now, regardless of what Jacob told you earlier, the hare passed him and went to the goal. And the hare woke up and said, "Oh, how did you get to the goal first?" It's really not about who gets to the goal first. It's about staying true to the course. I invite you to feed your soul and your spirit as you stay true to the course. Blessings. Thank you. Let us enjoy the music again of our wonderful choral group tonight. Aren't they doing wonderfully? Thank you. Thank you. And participate with them as you turn to the music in the brochure that's inside your Sunday program
Right.
on
I'm
a
sorry.
Saturday.
I forgot to tell them about that. Congregational singing is back. Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plain, and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strains. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Shepherds, why this jubilee? Why your joyous strains alone? What the gladsome tidings be, which inspire your heavenly song? Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Come to Bethlehem and see, in whose birth the angels sing. Come adore on bended knee, Christ the Lord, the newborn King. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo.
The part of our service that we call our candle lighting, and Reverend Carmen will be coming forward to guide us through the stages of that. The ushers are going to pass out the candles. If you will please come forward and distribute the candles among the congregation. Thank you.
As you receive your candle, the person that is, we'll go ahead and as we're distributing them, once the candles are lit, the ushers will actually hold the candle straight, and we'll start off at the aisles. So the person receiving the candle, lighting your candle on an angle, yes? And then you'll pass that on, holding your candle straight and letting the other person then take a light from you, okay? As the candles are being passed out, moving along. And from both sides. Okay. And we've placed the papers up a little bit higher. Keep them higher so that if you happen to be sitting there as we go into a quiet meditation, your hand doesn't happen to go like this. If the paper's down too low and it goes like this, you might get some wax on yourself. So we invite you to keep the paper up a little bit higher, okay? And those of you who are joining us on social media, if you happen to have a candle in your midst, we invite you to also light that when we're lighting our candles.
All right, has everyone received a candle? At this time, then let the ushers please come forward to receive the light from Reverend Carmen. Please come forward, ushers. God bless you.
And put your hand behind it. And as the house lights come down all the way, and we invite you now to quietly just meditate with the music.
As we enter into a sacred and holy moment, let us breathe deeply, deeply, being not only aware of the presence of the loving Christ whose birthday we commemorate this day, this evening, but the eternal presence of God, which is always available to each of us, every day, wherever we are. Let us know that here this evening, whatever is going on in our personal lives, or the world in which we live as family, there is but one power that supports us always. And in this holy moment, Let us honor that power in us, in this ministry, and in our world, in unity. And now let us take a slow and gradual, deep breath and bring our awareness back to this moment, treasuring every experience we have had together and the profound, loving, healing presence of that which we call the Christ, the presence of the love of God in each. Gently extinguish your candles, please. Hold them upright to allow the wax to congeal for a bit. And take them home. They are yours to repeat however often you would like during the Christmas holidays or in the year to come. And remember this event. It comes with great blessing that we offer this experience to you.
To have all of those who have participated this evening, thank you, one and all, you being here. At this time of the service, we'll be moving into our tithes and offerings, and we take your tithes and your gifts in your hands and bless them as the ushers come forth at this time to receive the plate. Let us pray. At radiant source of all life, we give thanks on this blessed Christmas Eve for the love, the joy, the peace that we all embrace. We give thanks for the opportunity to share of our hearts, given with love. And we know that divine love moving through each and every one of us blesses and multiplies all that we give, and all that we receive. And so it is. Amen.
Amen.
Yes. Thank you and good night. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
You were in E flat. Did you transpose?